Up next is another icon of the sniping world, and this is modeled after a Barrett.
Yeah, the M99 Barrett, which is often confused with the M95 Barrett, which is essentially the same gun. It's just the 95 will use a magazine, and the 99, I believe, is a single shot you load it in from the breech.
This particular gun is a Snow Wolf.
Yes.
This manufactures this one.
So if you, back in the day, if you were playing Bad Company 2, you've probably used the M95, which is pretty close to it. And that's why I like this gun a lot, because in some video games, this one gets featured a bit. And I mean, it's just a cool gun. It's just like the M82, 50 caliber. You walk onto the field with this. We used to take this in the ref tower to, not even ref check, but just to put it up there for looks. And
well, usually the fear for most people, that's the fact that they're going to get shot with it. Now, if you've been playing airsoft, you know that all airsoft guns shoot relatively within the same velocity, so this gun is not going to shoot much harder than any other airsoft gun.
It just looks scary.
But it just gives you that visual shock factor, and there's a lot of younger people that see something like this and feel like somehow we're going to like wipe them off the face of the earth with it, but it's the same as any other airsoft gun. Compared to the M82, this is about the same price in the same.
Yeah, this is I believe going for around $300 or so, up or down depending on where you buy it from.
But this is a spring operated gun versus the other one that is an electric gun.
The obvious downside to that is that you do have to manually cock it, and since it's a spring, it's going to be a little tough to do, especially with a rifle this big. It might be a little challenging for people, but the advantage to that is, I would say, consistency. You know, with AEG, it's probably going to be relatively comparable, but like we were mentioning with the gas gun, I mean, with spring, you're going to be very consistent. We've also never really had problems with this gun. It's been pretty good.
Pretty much a workhorse. Now, the M99 is a single shot in the real world. In the airsoft world, it does have a magazine, and I'm happy to say that you can get replacement magazines for this gun fairly readily, and replacement parts. So if you're looking into buying a gun that either you're going to want to be able to get replaceable parts or be able to do some upgrades to it, there are parts that are available to this. This uses the same piston system. When you look on the inside of it, this shell of the gun is just something that they put on to a regular bolt-action airsoft sniper rifle. In fact, the bolt system that's inside of here, which you really can't see from the camera angle, is the same as like most of the M700 bolts that I've seen, the Remington style ones.
I feel like that's just a fact sometimes, is a lot of the internals with spring-powered sniper rifles are relatively comparable.
It's a good thing for you, because you'll be able to get replacement parts for it. It's, you know, in my world of airsoft guns, it's a cheaper way of doing things, which it would be nice when you saw one of these that it had an absolutely authentic looking bolt system like the real gun. But for the sake of a person that's going to be playing airsoft, it's nice to have parts that you'll be able to get replacements for. Now, as far as the velocity on this particular gun, it's advertised as having, where are we here?
450 to 500 FPS. 500. We clocked it in today, actually, at 465 for the average, which is why we never actually use it here in the arena. Like I said before, the joke about ref checking, but we would never ref check somebody with this because it does shoot over the limit. And that's kind of something you got to take into consideration. Make sure you know what your field limits are. With a .2, this is shooting, 465. So make sure you know what your local field allows.
I would hate to spend, what are we looking at on this gun here?
$300.
$300 to spend $300, go all the way to a field, and then find out you're out of luck.
And that's not the fault of the fields. Like we just showed, we don't really know what all of the local field limits are. We know our limits because we're here, and you wouldn't use this here anyway. But with that being said, regardless of what the field limits are, this is shooting kind of hot.
Yeah, so do your research.
Make sure you know what you're doing. Like you said, you don't want to spend $300. Regardless of what field you go to, and then not be able to use it. I imagine that maybe some of the very large outdoor fields, something like this would probably be acceptable, because this, again, we're shooting a .2, and they might have different chrono limits with the different weight of BBs and stuff. So as long as you do your research and you can use this, and you just want something that's really big and really cool, I mean, this is a pretty good option. I mean, it's
really
looks the
big.
part.
I mean, here's the thing: it's a fairly heavy gun. Number one. So you're going to be saddled with quite a burden if you're going to be moving around a lot.
Right, and I think part of being a sniper, especially in the airsofting realm where, you know, you're not going to be engaging people from, you know, super far distances, is you are going to be moving around quite a bit. And with something like this, the idea is to find a place to sit.
Right.
And you're not really going to want to move too much. So you could probably find a spot relatively close to the action and sit down and take some shots. But eventually, I think you're going to have to move from your hide, which is just something in airsoft in general. You're going to have to move to go with the flow of battle and try and catch up to the enemy. So in terms of practicality, I can't say this is the most practical gun just because of how heavy it is.
It's probably one of the least practical just because of its weight factor.
If you just won like the lottery or a scratch off or something and you just want to blow $300 or something that looks really cool, I mean,
well, when we get into the accuracy of the gun, which is where it's at for a lot of folks, it's kind of average.
It's a 12-inch grouping, which at 100 feet again with 0.3 gram BBs.
So you're looking at about a group that big. So that's your kill rate.
It's not terrible. No, it's you know, there's better ones out there, sure, but there's also worse.
Right.
I mean, this really isn't all that bad. And I mean, you could put a tight bore in it. You could, you know, put a different spring in it. You could put different parts in it. If you really wanted to change the FPS to maybe be field legal, you could put a different spring in it.
And just full disclosure, I have not taken this gun apart yet, so I'm not sure how easy it would be with this particular model. So I'm not sure if I would recommend that to a younger player, because you'll probably, in most cases, end up bringing the gun back here in pieces and ask us to put it back together for you. So if that's something that you're thinking about doing, it's always good to go on YouTube or any other, you know, video system like that and look at somebody disassembling a gun.
Yeah, let someone else do all the hard work first.
And then decide if you want to take it on as a project, because we get a couple guns a week like that people think they can handle it and then just give up, you know, completely give up and give us the remains and let us try to deal with it. So I think it's a bit expensive and it's a bit heavy.
Expensive, cumbersome, and just in general for the performance you're getting, it's not worth
for the money. I think
what you're doing.
You can spend your money a little
wisely. Yeah. But again, this is not terrible. This is, you know, a decent gun.
You get what you pay for it.
It's cool
for the most part.
I think it's really cool. Like we said, the intimidation factor. Maybe you won't even have to shoot anybody. Just point it at them and they'll run away. So hey, if you like going to play airsoft and not shooting people, this
is a perfect gun.
Might be it.
Cool.